Hi everybody and welcome back. Alright, we're up to the last couple of lessons in our fundamentals section, and in this lesson we're going to learn how to create parts using just code. Now if you've still got your model in here, you don't have to have it in here. However, if we look at this, you'll in our part model, so if we pick part 1, which is in here, we use this button up here to create a part in here. Now these all look the same, so when you click on this button, what you're doing is creating a copy of a part that exists in the code somewhere, and it's called an instance. So each time you create a copy of a part like this, it's called an instance. Now each instance then, as you can see, has its own properties which can make it unique. So I can come in here and change this one to green, and I can change this one to another color. So they are copies of the same object. Alright, so this part is an object and this one's an object, but they're copies of the object that are called instances, and that's what makes them unique. Alright, so we're going to create one using code. So what we'll do is I'll just grab the whole model there and just move it over there out of the way, and we'll come into our server script service, and I have disabled all of the other scripts, and we'll create a script in here, and we'll call this the create a part script, and we'll get rid of our hello world. Alright, so we'll just make a note up the top here, create a part using code. So as I was just talking about, if we create a variable called part equals, we want to create an instance of a part. In that case we use the keyword instance dot new. So we're creating a new instance, and we use a string, and it will come up with all of the different things that we can create as instances. So you can see we can a number value, etc., and there's a whole list there that you can go through, but we are interested in the part, so we will create a part instance. So once you've created this part, if we just hit play, you shouldn't see anything appear. It may come up, but no, because we haven't parented it anywhere. We've just it's just floating around somewhere and it doesn't actually exist yet. So the way we place things into the workspace is to use the name of the part, and then we parent it, alright, so to the workspace. So the workspace, the part, it will now be placed into the workspace. So if we run the code again, it should be in the workspace, but where is it? Let's have a look. Click on our part here. Now we may need to come up to this button up next to play and current client. Alright, so it's on the client, and we'll click on the part and hit F, and you'll notice it's underneath. Alright, underneath us, and it's like a Lego block, so it's hidden by the spawn point. So let's stop the code there, but it's in the workspace. Now we'll do the parenting last, and we'll add some other or change some properties just like you would up here, but we can do it in code. So we can name our part, so part.name equals, and so this is my part, can be the name of the part. We can change its size, and when we change a size we use a vector3.new, and we put in the size that we want. So we'll make ours 10 by 10 by 10 to make it stand out. We can also change its color, just like we did for clicking on it, only we will put in here brick color, and we have already done this in our fundamentals. So brick color.new, and I'm just going to make mine a boring brown, but you can choose whatever you like, and you can change the sizes or whatever. I'm just showing you how to do this in code, so by all means choose your own. And now the material, so we're changing the material, and I talked about enums. All right, enums are built-in variables in Roblox. So we type enum, then dot material, and then you can pick one of these. So I'll just stick with wood planks, but you can pick what you like. And you can continue to go through these properties to create your part. Now, there's a couple more that we haven't really talked about yet, but the first one is .anchored. Now, anchored means that if it is true, which we will make true, it means once the part is created in the workspace, it can't be pushed around or moved. So even if you create it in the middle of the air, it will stay where you put it. So we'll set it to true. And part.canCollide, all right, we'll also set this to true. Can collide, if you have that to false, players will be able to run right through that part and other things can't collide with it either. And the last thing that we'll do here is we will set the part's position. So position, all right, equals. Now currently the position is by default 0, 0, 0, which is where the spawn point also falls. So in this case, what we'll do is we will set a vector3.new. Now, x is to the left and right of us, so we'll keep it straight in front of us. So we'll just set a position of 0. Y is how high the item is. Now, when you create the part, as you saw earlier, the part got created underneath us. So what we need to do is raise it up by half of whatever this is. So let's change its Y position to 5, and let's place it, say, 30 studs in front of us, which is the Z. All right, so that should be in front of us when we create this. And then we have the part parented. So we've got a lot of properties there. Let's run it and see what happens. And it's actually created behind us. All right, so I should have used a negative number there, but you can see that that part is created, and I can get up on top of it just. All right, and we've created like a big wooden cube. Now, like I said, if we wanted it to create in front of us, we could change this to -30, right, and run it again, and now it should appear in front of us rather than behind us, and there it is there. All right, so you can have a bit of fun playing with this. Now, one other thing that you can do is when you create a part, you can also, there are other types of parts, but let's type in, if you come up to home and we just have a quick look, under model, where are we? Looking for our part. There we go. On the drop down, we've got these different shapes. So if you wanted to create a different shape, then you can also specify that in your code here as well. So we can type in part.shape, all right, is once again an enum dot and shape enum dot just material, come down, part type, sorry, it's called, and then we can pick what it's going to be. So if we wanted to change it into a ball, now we should have a big wooden ball right in front of us, and there it is. All right, and lastly, if since it's a big wooden ball now, let's turn off anchored, all right, which will mean that it can now be moved within the workspace. So if I run into this, it's not moving for us, probably because it's too big and I don't have enough push to actually make that work. So all right, let's change this to be a bit smaller and see if I can move it now. Oh, I just noticed I didn't change that to false. So let's put that back, and that should have been anchored false. And let's try to push it again now. Well, let's have a run over and run into it. There we go. I can just get it moving, all right, because it has some weight. All right, so that is a quick introduction of instances and how to change their parts. You can have a bit of fun with that and see if you can create multiple parts in here. You could perhaps use, as a bit of a hint, a loop and change the position where each part is created. But if you once you've had enough of playing around with that, we can move on to the last lesson, where we're going to talk about a special kind of script called a module script. So I will see you in the next lesson.